Hello YouTube, it's Sarita, and today I wanted to do a quick little update video on my experience at NYU so far. The last video I made about college was actually before I even started college, and I'm currently a junior. I'm going to be starting my second semester of junior year very soon, so it's definitely been a while since I sat down and talked about this. I think that the reason why it took me so long to follow up on my past video, despite having said that I wanted to, is that I went through a lot. And I'm sure everybody does, but I think I myself had to figure out how to deal with the things that I was going through and how to overcome a lot of challenges that I faced. So I'll be honest and say that my freshman year was probably one of the most difficult years of my life, honestly, and I know that sounds very dramatic, but in all honesty, it was the case. I think I had a lot of difficulty adjusting to college, and there were multiple reasons for that, but I think one of the biggest reasons was that I was very reluctant to reach out for help when I needed it, and I think it's because throughout high school, throughout really most of my childhood, I was never one of those kids who had to ask for help. I would figure things out by myself, and I don't think it's a bad thing. I love being independent. I think it's something that you should be proud of if you are, but I think that knowing when you need help and knowing how to reach out and understand that asking for help doesn't make you weak, I think that's valuable. And honestly, I had so much difficulty with it. I'm still struggling with it a little bit, but I have gotten better. My freshman year, I remember I was struggling in classes, but I didn't even want to go to tutoring. I didn't want to go speak to my professors. And if you watched my last video, then you know that I have a full scholarship to NYU. So we are part of a program, and the program is actually very much a development program. It's an incredible program, and I realize that now, and I appreciate everything that they do for us. But my freshman year, I did not take advantage of all of the resources that they offered. So I think I felt very lost freshman year, and I felt very out of place. I remember feeling so inadequate. I felt so out of place, really. And I think when you feel out of place, it's really hard to understand why you are doing what you're doing. For me, it was really difficult to understand why I was even in college. It got to a point where I didn't even want to get out of bed to go to class. That's how bad it was. My second semester of college was one of the lowest points in my life. I would wake up sometimes and not have the energy to get out of bed, not have the motivation to get out of bed. I knew I had class, I knew that it was important to go, but I was honestly in a place where I felt like I didn't belong. I kept questioning how I got into NYU, why I was there. Honestly, I felt dumb. Like that's the simple way to put it. I felt dumb in that school. And I think it's the fact that I went to a high school that wasn't very competitive, and I never really felt like I had to try that hard. And I'm not trying to be conceited about it. I'm just being honest. I did well, I got good grades without really trying at my high school. And it was dumb of me to think this, but I really believed that college would be the same, or at least similar, and it wasn't at all. It was a huge slap in the face. So my second semester, I remember missing a lot of classes. I remember not handing in assignments, not showing up for quizzes, failing exams, and honestly, it was a mess. Like, that's plain and simple, it was a mess. I'll be straight up right now and say that I ended my first year of college with an awful GPA. Terrible. And I'm not saying terrible in the whole oh, I wanted a 4.0 and I got a 3.9. I mean, it was awful. And I'm a scholarship kid, you're expected to have a certain GPA. And for my scholarship, they don't expect anything insane. They expect a 2.0. But regardless, I had my own standards and I was way below them. And I think that was something that also made it difficult for me. But I think finishing the year, even just completing my freshman year and slowly beginning to accept help from people, slowly beginning to realize that when people asked me how I was, when people asked me if I needed any help with anything, they were being genuine, they were being authentic, they weren't lying, they weren't doing it for convenience, they were doing it because they actually cared. And perhaps I was lucky in the sense that I have some incredible people in my life. Honestly, NYU has introduced me to amazing people and I'm more than grateful for that. But I think understanding that and being willing to accept help more often is what has really transformed my experience at NYU. So now moving on to my sophomore year at NYU, I'd say it was a huge period of growth for me, and it was a lot of really amazing growth to reflect on. I forgot to mention that I've been working the entire time that I've been in college, so I had a summer internship just before my freshman year in college, and they chose to hire me, and I've kept that same job until now. I think that maintaining a job while you're in college definitely does make it more difficult, and one of the most important things I've learned at NYU is time management is critical. It's critical. If you don't know how to split up your time between things that are actually really important and things that can maybe wait a little bit, then it's basically over. It can ruin you, and trust me, I have experience in that. During my sophomore year, I definitely developed much better time management skills, and I think that's really what changed my grades. My GPA improved, not as much as I would have liked it to, and that is my own fault because I remember thinking that I could still do it all. I knew that I had had such a terrible experience freshman year, and for some reason I was still having complications trying to apply the knowledge that I had obtained freshman year from my failures, honestly. And I remember back then being so ashamed of the fact that I had done so poorly. And at this point in my life, I don't think I really need to be ashamed anymore. Am I disappointed? Yes, but what happened happened. At the end of the day, I can't change what has already happened. I can only work to improve what's to come. And I think that I'm doing it. I have faced so many challenges, and I'm so proud of myself for the things that I'm accomplishing now. Sophomore year allowed me to learn how to split up my time. I think at this point as a junior, I'm doing more and balancing more than I have ever done in the past. I still have my job, as I mentioned previously. I'm generally doing about 18 credits per semester, which is a full course load. And I'm actually attending clubs now. And regardless, I feel like I'm doing so much better. And it's not just feeling like I'm doing so much better, I actually am. I just got my grades back from my first semester, so full semester of my junior year. And this is probably my best semester. I think it actually is my best semester. And there's still room for improvement, but I think that's something that I'm excited for because especially now that I've seen what I'm capable of, I'm really looking forward to actually putting out that work and putting in all of the effort that it requires to get the grades that I want, the grades that I know that I can get. I think something that's been very critical for me to learn is that grades do not define you. And I'm sure you've heard it 1,000 times, but I've come to realize that my grades have not necessarily been a measure of my intelligence. They've been a measure of the work that I've put in And unfortunately, my freshman year, I didn't put in much work. I didn't spend time studying. I thought that it would be as easy as it was in high school, where I could show up to an exam without having really prepared for it and still get a good grade. And you know, it worked a few times. It worked with certain classes, but it's not going to work all the time. Realistically, it's not going to work, because you'll have exams in college that are sometimes 30-40% of your grade. And if you don't prepare for that and you screw up your entire grade for that class. I've learned to set aside time to actually study for things, and I remember being so reluctant to do it because I thought, you know, I should know this stuff. If I went to class, if I did the homeworks, then I shouldn't have to study, and it's not true. This past semester is the first semester that I've really devoted a lot of time to studying and putting in work into what I've been doing, and it's yielded fantastic results. Could I have done better? Yes, but the fact that I've seen so much improvement just shows me that if I continue to improve my habits next semester and the last 2 semesters that I have left next year, it's going to be amazing and it's going to be okay. So yes, I messed up, and I messed up badly freshman year. Believe me, I messed up very badly, but there's still a way out. I think you just need to find your motivation, you need to find your reason for being in college and hold on to that. I think it's important to not live somebody else's dream. And of course, I wanted to go to college. I always did, you know, I've said it 1,000 times. NYU was actually my dream school for a really long time, and getting in was incredible. But I couldn't quite figure out why I was there my freshman year, and that's what made it so difficult for me to actually care about what I was doing. Finding your purpose and holding on to that and working toward that is what's going to keep you motivated to keep working, keep pushing, even when things get difficult. Because if you keep in mind your end goal, you're going to want to do anything and everything to achieve it. And that's what I've learned. That's one of the most important lessons I've learned at college. And it's something that is going to keep pushing me through the rest of my life, really. Because I think aligning what you're doing in the moment with what you want to accomplish in the future, figuring out how, say even a class that you don't enjoy, will help you in the future, will help you possibly develop skills, and even if it's not directly, it'll help you get your diploma, which will put you that much closer to what you want to do. Figuring that out and keeping that in my mind is what's helping me to actually focus and do what I have to do, because I know that at the end of the day, even if I'm taking classes that I don't particularly enjoy, and it will happen because that's just how college is, you know, you have a lot of requirements that you have to take, and at Stern that's definitely the case. You end up taking a lot of classes that maybe don't really go well with what you're interested in, but you have to take them. And if you just keep the mentality that you don't care, that you're not interested, it's not going to be helpful in any way. So take it from me, it's definitely okay to make mistakes. It's not the end of the world if you mess something up, and I definitely thought it was the end of the world when I finished my freshman year and saw what my GPA was and realized how poorly I did. But clearly it wasn't, because I'm still at NYU, I'm doing better, I'm having access to absolutely incredible opportunities, and it's really all because of the fact that I decided to stick by what I was doing, focus on what I wanted to end up doing in the future, and realize that all of this takes me one step closer. Even if I don't enjoy certain aspects of it, putting in the work will only be beneficial to my future. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask them in the comment section. I would be more than happy to answer those for you. Also, if you have any suggestions for videos that you'd like to see me make, any topics that you'd like to see me cover on this channel, then please be sure to leave those down below as well. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please be sure to give it a thumbs up. And if you're interested in seeing more from me in the future, please be sure to subscribe. Until next time.